Hello and welcome. I'm Darren, and today we're going to do something a little bit different. Now, this is not a product review. This was a case of somebody asking me in the comment section about the keyboard and the keyboard rest I believe I use. So I thought I would do a video just going quickly, basically, through the peripherals that I do use. And I was going to go through everything on my desk setup and my reasons. And if I personally, how I get on with it, if I think it's actually maybe worth looking into for someone or maybe not. So the first thing that I'll go to, which is the easiest, is the mouse I use. This is the Logitech G Pro. It's not the light version, so it's just the Logitech G Pro. I think the other one's the Super Light, I believe so. Wireless mouse, really good. There is a downside. Now, as far as working well, failure rate, or anything like that, I've had no problems. I have had a couple of these. I did replace my previous one for a reason that I'm going to show you why. It works perfectly fine. Now, the only reason I replaced it was because I believe at the time, I don't know, I think my partner was asking me for something to do with a birthday or Christmas present, and they just happened to be on a Black Friday deal, and I didn't know what. So I said, oh, you can grab me one of these if you want, whilst it was like half price to replace my other one. I still have the other one because the issue that I've had, and this one has done exactly the same thing. It's not a big deal. I'm not going to replace it again because it's clearly just a problem that will keep happening. I might look into maybe a different mouse in the future, but just out of interest more than out of need or want or because of this reason. But if you can see there, I don't have autofocus turned on this camera, unfortunately. But if you can see, if you can make out those kind of what looks like oily patterns, that's actually the top kind of matte textured paint surface that has eroded away. It's obviously where my fingers rub against it, and it's just one of those things, really. It's not great for what is kind of a G Pro product. At the same time, it has no effect. So make of that what you will. Other than that, the mouse has been fine. I mean, if you pick one of these up on a Black Friday deal at half their price, so kind of like a £50, £60 job, it's probably still a decent mouse. But that doesn't mean that you can't get better for that money. I don't test mice. You'd have to look further into it, but as far as I've used it, really good mouse. So that's the first thing out the way. The second thing is, because I do have some Logitech stuff, I decided rather than having loads of software to run all sorts of other stuff, I have the Logitech G Pro 2 wireless headset. I had the G Pro 1 wireless headset. It all got a bit bashed and a bit messy after a few years of use. And I think, if I remember rightly, I need to actually care for these a little bit better. I think all the kind of leather inside here probably started to like delaminate and fall apart, and probably my own fault for not putting any type of care product on it. So I'm going to have to make sure I do that. That's actually a good reminder to me to not do that again. So yes, Logitech G Pro 2 wireless headset. This one is an awkward one. I'm not about to replace it. I'm not looking for anything else. I don't know if I'd recommend it. Now, it's comfortable. I can't compare it to anything else, and that's the awkward thing. So as far as I'm aware, it's comfortable to use. I'm not looking to replace it. What I will say is there are problems with this which existed with the first one. I've checked online. It is something that's echoed online, and that's that the volume doesn't get particularly loud. In most games, it's fine. I do actually struggle with it in Escape from Tarkov. I basically run it at 100% volume in that, and preferably I'd like a little bit extra. So it's usable. Like I said, I'm not looking to replace it, but that is an issue. And the other thing is the mic. The mic is absolute trash. It was better on the first than what it is on the second, so it's got worse. Obviously, I use this mic in game. If I'm doing any kind of in-chat in game, I wouldn't use the mic on this. It's just I don't know. I'm sure people have sat around with it and managed to find a profile and managed to make it work for them, but I haven't for myself. So would I recommend it? I mean, if you got it really cheap on a Black Friday deal, I mean, wireless headset is brilliant. Having a wireless mouse and wireless headset, obviously the Logitech stuff has got whatever light speed. I mean, there's no latency in it. It's pretty bang on, or if there is latency, it's not something that someone that games to my level of gaming would notice. It's perfectly fine. And the battery life is immense. Like, I don't know how often I charge these, but I feel like I never. It's probably like, it might be like 2 weeks or something like that. It might even be longer, and I use this for a good couple of hours every night. So that's about as far as I can go with that, to be honest. So, keyboard. Let me try not to bash my mic. So the keyboard that I use is the glorious GMMK Pro. You can see that I got this basically in like a bare bones kit. So it's chunky aluminium. It's, pretty hefty. I got it in the bare bones kit, so I chose the keycaps and the switches. I can't remember what switches I've got in it. I can only be honest. Oh no, I've got Speed Silvers. I can't remember what the brand of Speed Silver is. I can't remember if it's Gateron or if they're Acco. They might be Acco Speed Silvers. I'll have to find out. I might leave it in the description. So yes, GMMK Pro. I changed the knob to a gold aesthetic. This does have the ability to backlight RGB all around the keycaps. I only run it with the RGB on the side, which I love. Dirt hanging off my keyboard. With the RGB down the side, which I love. It just looks kind of quality. When I walk up to it, sit on the desk with just that kind of little bit of lit up edge, obviously both sides. Obviously you can change the color to whatever you want, it's RGB. It just looks quality whenever I look at that. And then you can see, obviously, on the underside, it's got this kind of milled, kind of glorious logo in it. It's hefty. So that's my keyboard. Like I said, I got it in a bare bones kit, so it came in separate boxes. So it came with the keyboard and then just the separate boxes for the switches and the separate boxes for the keys. You can buy it in a pre-done kit. I didn't pay full price for it because I always buy things when they're on a deal. So I bought it off Overclockers UK. I can't remember. It's not cheap. If you can find it on a deal, I think it's a good keyboard. Now, when you're comparing it, when you start getting into the rabbit hole of keyboards, I don't think this, if you actually look into it, really ranks anywhere in terms of the big hitting custom keyboards. But I mean, you can spend 500, 600. God, I'm sure you can probably spend $1,000 on a custom keyboard. It wouldn't surprise me one bit. I'm not sure exactly the price that this does RRP at if you buy it already built, or even if you do buy it in a kit. But I got a feeling I paid around £150 for it for the kit. So to obviously have everything there to build it, I think I paid about that was on a special offer, so I can't remember exactly how much discount that came in at. But I wouldn't be surprised if for a built one they're around £200. I got a feeling they are about $199. I could be wrong, which is obviously quite expensive for a keyboard. But when you spend a load of money on your PC stuff and you things start to get out of control. I'm sure everyone, maybe some people don't, maybe some people do. I do. Now, someone asked me about the keyboard rest. Now, this is just a generic off Amazon walnut. And the reason is gold knob on the keyboard, walnut wrist rest, fractal north case. So gold accents on the case, gold knobs and stuff, gold feet. You can't see them obviously in this picture. And then a walnut front. So walnut wrist rest. it kind of keeps in my desktop theme. You can see I've got kind of a like antique walnut looking desk, and then I've got some walnut audio engine speakers. So this is off. It does have a brand actually on it. It is called Vadir. How can I get that? So, oh God, Vadir. Yeah, there. So Vadir. I don't know if that's going to show up or not. I can use autofocus on that because it will start going ballistic. It picks up the mic and does some crazy stuff. Now, I did have to cut this down because I wanted it to be the exact width of my keyboard and just bot up to it perfectly. So I did cut it down. I chopped it off one side. I do have a chop saw. And before I did it, I pulled off one of these feet. You can kind of heat them up a bit with a hairdryer if need be. I've got a heat gun, but a hairdryer will probably do it. Warm it up a bit, peel it back. Chop it down if you want to. Obviously, clean it, put a bit of Danish oil on it or whatever you'd use, Tico or whatever. And then just re-stick the little rubber feet on so it doesn't fly around on your mat or desktop. But yes, really nice keyboard. Love it. Quality. It kind of... I did have a keyboard previously, so I will show you that. Now, the keyboard I had previously is... Come here. I can't bend too far. I'll tear my stitches open. So the keyboard I had previously was this, which is the Ducky Vermillo Maya. Obviously you can see it's a smaller, so I can't remember what it is in terms of size, but it's a smaller keyboard, 65% or 60, yeah, 65% I think it is, because it's got the arrow keys. I think 60% gets rid of the arrow keys, if I'm right in thinking that. I'm sure I'm right in thinking that. This is a really nice keyboard. It's not aluminium, so it's obviously some sort of molded plastic, but it's still quite weighty, it's still quite heavy. There's not really a lot of flex to it, anything like that. The keys in it are a little bit springy. I'm not sure if it's hot swappable. But it was a nice keyboard. I used this for quite a while. Effectively, I don't know. I think I was in a position where I had some money to burn. And I just kind of thought, you know what, I could do with something with F keys. So the GMMK Pro came along and I just decided that that was something that I wanted to do. So that's still a nice keyboard. And you can see it's like kind of like quite a nice colorway, but for the price of that, because I think I still probably paid about £120 for that at the time, and that was probably from Overclockers UK as well. I'll be honest, personally, I would save up the extra and buy the GMMK Pro, especially if this isn't hot swappable. And I don't want to give out wrong information, but I don't think it is. And hot swappable is actually quite handy, and I'm going to show you a reason why. Because the other day I bought another keyboard. Because I get a little bit obsessed sometimes when I've got money to burn, and the 50 series was such a dull moment for me. So, I was nosing on Amazon and I spotted the Epomaker Tide 65. 65% triple mode aluminium gasket mounted keyboard. Suck that in. So this, because I've just been through my black and gold and walnut theme, came up and I looked at it and I thought that looks pretty cool. And if you don't like this color set, then you ain't gonna like it. But I looked at a few reviews on the tube and I actually found out that it's actually a really good keyboard for its price range. Obviously, you can now get some decent keyboards for under 100 or around 100, which are aluminium based. You know, you've got your dial knob. Dial knob's really handy to have. So volume knob, obviously press to mute. I wouldn't want to be, and that's probably another reason why I probably wouldn't go with the Ducky personally myself, because that volume control knob is such a good thing to have, especially in a house. If you're like headphones on and stuff, and your headphone adjuster is a little bit of a nightmare to get to, and suddenly you hear one of the kids screaming or something, it's just so much easier to just bang it and mute it, or twist the knob down so you can scream at a kid or something like that. So this is it, and this is quite weighty, and I probably shouldn't do that, but This isn't the keys. This is not the keys that come with this. So this came in at, I think, by the time I had VAT off, it was about £115 on Amazon, and I got VAT off, and it was about £100, I think. And then the keys that came with it were not of my liking. I knew that before I bought it. I saw it in the reviews, and it's something that gets mentioned in the reviews quite a lot. It has a very certain style of keycaps, which is, instead of having the numbers and alphabet on the top surface, they're on the front facing surface, and they're quite modern style of font on it, which is kind of, I thought, a bit strange. A lot of people say the same thing. So I changed the keycaps, and I changed them for the Mint keys, Samurai fake copy keys, because the actual Samurai by drop keys are about £100 for a set of keycaps, and spending £100 on a set of keycaps for a £100 keyboard seemed a little bit crazy for me. Now, I might buy some actual proper Samurai keycaps because they are quite cool, but instead I got some fake ones that don't have the Samurai font on them, but it's the color scheme, if you know what I mean. So this is that keyboard. You can see that it's smaller than the GMMK Pro, so it doesn't have the F key row in it. It does have, obviously... Oh, it doesn't have a delete key. Fuck, I'm going to have to program a key because I need delete if I want to go into BIOS. I might be able to program the end key. So you can see, obviously, it's got a knob. Got a knob in the corner. Now, the color scheme of this suited me. People will either like this or they won't like it, because, as you can see, it's black, but it has this. Let me see if I can make it show up. It has a gold kind of beveled edge. It's aluminium with this kind of gold beveled edge, which runs around the outside and then actually runs inside as well. That'll probably be almost impossible to show up. Oh, you might see it there. So it runs inside the key thing as well. So pretty chunky aluminium. It's quite weighty. And then I went for the Samurai keycaps because I thought they looked cool, and I thought I'd do kind of like a Samurai Black Myth Wukong type thing, because that's Game of the Year, without any shadow of a doubt. There's no argument to be had. Black Myth Wukong, Game of the Year 2024. The bullshit Game Awards can fuck off. Yeah, that's it. So this is quite nice. You can see there. Oh God, I just smeared the hell out of that with my hands. So I put cream on them because they're all dry and cracked. Unfortunately, that looks really smeary, but you can see there that it's got like this, big mirrored weight on the underside of it with the Epomaker badge etched in it. Apologies, I've put cream on my hands because they look horrendous and they're all cracked and split, and I've just smeared cream all over it. Now, this keyboard's awesome. Out of the box, the keycaps, the actual keys themselves that come in it are really nice and they sound really good. But that's a problem, because I love the sound of them, but I realised that obviously creating content with this below my mic is going to be a problem, as you can probably hear. So, what turned up today to try and save the day, because I have that problem with the GMMK, and that's hot swappable, so I can change the keys in the GMMK Pro. However, I like the ones that are in there. I've got Speed Silvers in there, and I love them for gaming. But when I'm trying to do any actual content gaming, which isn't obviously something that I worry about dying in, there's no kind of competition-wise, if you know what I mean. It's really loud. I notice it in my content when I play my content back, that I can hear the old keys banging away on the keyboard. So these are even louder. So you've got those versus... So these are even louder. They sound nicer, but they're louder. They feel nice. It's a nice keyboard. So these are the keys that come in it. I don't know what they are. I think it says on the box there's something cream. Does it say on the box? No, it doesn't say on the box. unfortunately, I'm badly prepared. So I believe they're called something cream, and you can hear them. They're quite loud, and obviously when they're on the keyboard, they make quite a fucky sound, which is quite nice. So I came across these Epomaker Sea Salt Silent switches, and the difference is this. Quite substantial. So actually when they're in the keyboard, you obviously get the noise of the keyboard and the keycap and the kind of echo within the keyboard. But I put one in my W key just to make a, I don't know, I'm not particularly directly under the mic like I am a little bit more when I'm gaming, but this is the normal sound, and then that's the sound of the silent. So normal sound, silent. It's not silent, but it's the most silent key I've ever felt. They don't obviously feel as nice. They feel a bit more squidgy. But in terms of me, I'm probably now just going to buy the rest because this isn't enough to fill the whole keyboard out. But admittedly, there's enough in there that I could probably just do the keys that I actually use. So I might just do that. As long as I've got like the WASD key, the control, the shift, the space, crouch and Z crouch X, kind of those type of keys that you actually use in gaming. I've got enough keys to do that, and then the rest I could probably leave like they are because, as you can hear, if I'm pressing W, it's actually really quiet. Doesn't feel as nice, doesn't sound as nice, but actually when you're making content, that's probably better than that. So that's it. Those are my keyboards. GMMK Pro. Like I said, you can buy this wrist rest off Amazon. Obviously, I don't know. It might be available in 2 sizes, but getting it to bot up to your keyboard, if that bothers you or not, you might not care if it's a bit smaller or if it overhangs. That's entirely up to you. But like I said, you can just cut one side off. It's not a case of it's like wood all the way through. It's not like it's plastic inside or anything random. So, the other thing, because I found this the other day and this really excited me, and I know it's not actually a big thing to excite, but I did do a kind of, I'm not going to say a review, but I did do a little look at the Stream Deck, and I love this thing. And I found something even better, because when you program the buttons in the Stream Deck, you can program them to just be a key button. So you can obviously put something in and program it to be the K button on your keyboard or 1 on your keyboard or anything like that. You can do buttons to be like go backwards, go forwards, and do all those sort of things. But you can obviously do keys that will launch applications. So effectively what you do is you drag the launch file of your game onto the button that you set up to be a launch application button, and it will launch the game to save you going into your Steam library to find the game, to scroll down to find the game. Now, when you drag, and this is like what you actually have to do, rather than just kind of getting the link and copying the link into the link file, just actually drag the link across onto the button in the software that you put the button on. And when you do that, and this was cool because I didn't realize it did it, and I'll show you, because I've messed up on the Assassin's Creed one because I didn't drag it across. But as you can see, I've got, so this is my home screen at the moment. Obviously it's got like the EFT is Escape from Tarkov, because that is probably the game that I play more than anything else. So I've got obviously apps and links and a volume button, which I can just do with the keyboard anyway, but it's another, I've got my record buttons, I've got my YouTube button and stuff like that. If I press this link out, well, yes. So press that link out, and then I go to my next screen where I've got launchers, so I can launch OBS. I probably should have just left that where it was. I can launch like my OBS, my light for my camera itself, CapCut, which is what I use to do my editing, and then there's games folder. So when I click on the games folder, I've got all my shortcuts in my games. And I'm like, holy shit, that is awesome. It actually drags across a little picture. So you've got like the red, what is it, red whatever it is launcher for like Witcher and Cyberpunk. You can see like there's a Red Dead Redemption 2 one there right in the center. There's a Starfield one. I don't know what the bear is. Oh, Chivalry 2. I don't know why it's got a picture of a bear. I think that's the anti-cheat thing, but whatever, I'll take it. Yeah, there's like a Fortnite one. I play Fortnite with the kids. There's an Alan Wake 2 one that you can see there. There's a Hogwarts Legacy one down in the corner. So I actually thought that was really cool. Obviously, you can just click that and launch the game. You don't have to open the Steam library to find it. You don't have to open your Epic Store to find it. I was actually like, I didn't realize it would do that. So again, I love this thing. It's a complete and not a luxury item, but I didn't care. If someone took this away now, I'd chase them down the road. I'm getting it back. So yeah, that's about it really. That was the keyboard. That was the keyboard rest. This was the new keyboard that turned up. Obviously, if you don't like the gold accent, you don't have an option. I think they just do it in black and gold, but they do. I think it's like a pink and like a baby blue color, if I'm right, which they don't have the gold accent. They're just obviously like coated in like baby blue or pink. Now, not my color schemes. Maybe because I've got pink lights, people might think that I float that way, but I have children. I certainly don't float that way. Nothing against people that do float that way. But yes, so I like that. That's a pretty cool looking keyboard. But like I said, if you don't like the black and gold, you're not going to like it. If you have a fractal North case, you clearly like black and gold. If you don't, you shouldn't have bought it. Then you might quite like that. So that's it. I'll leave it there. If any of this was any interest to you, I am not a reviewer, but you've seen the products and I've told you what they are. So I would suggest if you are interested in any of these, there is loads of videos on YouTube that will give you way more information what you need, and that'll be from people that have alternative products that can actually give you a better decision of whether they are worthy or not. I can't tell you that. I can just tell you what I use and my experience with them. Like I said, the Logitech stuff, it has problems. I'm not bothered by that. But it is Logitech G Pro stuff, so you kind of would expect a bit better. I might end up updating those things in the future, and I'll let you know what I do buy. But as far as it goes, as functionality goes, they're fine. The headphones, for 99% of the games I play, I normally have them at about 80%. It's just for some reason in Tarkov, I struggle. It's like I'd like them to go to, it would only be a little bit more, something like 105% would be ideal. But Tarkov is so reliant on hearing footsteps of other people that I kind of feel that they kind of let me down a little bit in that. So that I might look into. And mice, I don't know. I probably will buy something a little bit more fancy at one point, because obviously, as you can see, I do like to go a little bit further than just your normal kind of random entry type stuff. I like to go a little bit further than entry. So that's it. I'm going to end it there, and I'll catch you in the next one.